What's up, you guys? Hero276 here, and welcome to today's video, and welcome back to my channel. This is officially the end of Season 10, but we've got one cup remaining in the Johto Cup, and as you can see, I'm running a very nice team with JUMPLUFF, LANTURN, and QWILGOD, with QWILGOD acting as my safe swap. We pick up a very nice lead here on a Politoed. This is very nice. We do have to watch out for Blizzard though. As you can see, I try to catch the Blizzard onto my LANTURN, but unfortunately we have to stay in. The game does not let me catch, which is very unfortunate. My opponent safe swaps into Granbull, and Granbull is not a safe swap, ladies and gentlemen, because QWILGOD is here to save the day. Aqua Tail is going to be doing some nice chip damage. That does a lot right there. QWILGOD has a very high attack stat, and for a Pokemon as frail as Granbull, that did a lot of damage. Unfortunately, I have to shield the crunch and go down 2 shields in order to preserve alignment because QWILGOD is so glassy. But we do take alignment there, and the Politoed comes back in, hoping for the no shield on the Sludge Wave, but unfortunately my opponent shields it up. We do get to an Aqua Tail though, so this should be doing some very nice chip damage in the end. So it's okay, we get some chip damage off there, but unfortunately we do get farmed down. I bring in the harder of my 2 counters in LANTURN, and my opponent has JUMPLUFF in the back. I'm going to come in with my own JUMPLUFF and bait with Energy Ball. And they shield it, which is really funny. You could argue that I should have went straight Acrobatics since they're both about the same energy, but I thought it would be funny. But it was really cool how we actually got the shield on that bait, so that's so cool. My opponent is going to land in Acrobatics of their own, but we should be able to get there first to our Acrobatics and take out the JUMPLUFF. Now here's the cool thing, this Acrobatics is going to take out the JUMPLUFF, and Mudshot on Politoed is triple resisted, and my opponent recognizes that, so they have to waste their energy to throw. And at this rate, this is effectively good game. LANTURN's healthy enough to survive a Blizzard from this range, so yeah, that's a good game. Good game to my opponent, very well played there. Let's hop right into the next match. We pick somewhat of a neutral lead up in Umbreon in this matchup, and I actually did not know this at the time, but JUMPLUFF actually wins the 2 shields against Umbreon, so I probably should have stayed in there. But still, QWILGOD, I guess, is not bad. Now, the Umbreon throws on 4 here instead of 5, so they're showing me they do not have Psychic. So this is even better for QWILGOD, but Foul Play does a lot of damage because QWILGOD is so squishy. So normally I would not safe switch in QWILGOD, and you'll see later I'll improve my play. My opponent comes in Skarmory, and I hold my energy for it, so I'm going to have 3 Aqua Tails to fire off before the Skarmory can even farm me down. And even better, my switch timer's up, and I begin to realize this. As soon as my switch timer's up, I swap in the LANTURN, and this is essentially a lights out matchup for LANTURN, as everything here is resisted. They Brave Bird me, that actually only does 1/3 of my health, so I'm going to be able to farm down at this rate due to the lower defenses without having to sponge another move, and we have to see what comes in at this rate. I have a ton of energy, and it's a Azumarill, so this is a good game to my opponent, very well played. Our whole team counters Azumarill, so this is wonderful right here that we're seeing this. And it makes sense as to why my opponent did not want to switch out of that Skarmory and went Brave Bird instead. They probably wanted to minimize my farm, but I would have just committed to the farm down anyways. In other news, I let the LANTURN go down right there just because I don't really need it anymore. It did its job very well. QWILGOD comes in with some residual energy, and it gets to the Sludge Wave. Let's see that damage. Boom! Lands on the Azumarill, does a ton of damage, and now it's just that shieldless Umbreon in the back. And at this rate, because the Umbreon is shieldless, actually, fun fact, the win conditions for JUMPLUFF is that JUMPLUFF either has to have 2 shields or Umbreon has to be entirely shieldless. Because Umbreon shieldless, JUMPLUFF does win this matchup at full health, and my opponent recognizes that, so they surrender. Good game to my opponent, very well played. Alright, prepare yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. We pick up a Skarmory lead, and you're now going to see exactly how this team is run. We safe swap in the QWILGOD, and we throw the Aqua Tail onto the Skarmory. This will be doing some nice chip damage right here on that Skarmory. And we see the opponent swap into JUMPLUFF. Now, while it's not a great matchup for JUMPLUFF, QWILGOD is super squishy, so we have to shield any one move that JUMPLUFF gets to. They throw the Energy Ball, that's fine. I'm going to farm up to 100 energy, and I'm going straight for Aqua Tail, hoping for the shield bait. And we do bait our opponent. And now Sludge Wave is going to come in. And does my opponent shield this? Nope. Boom! Able to take out that Jumpluff, and we have successfully won back switch. My opponent comes in immediately with Skarmory, and at this point I'm perfectly content with letting Qwilfish go down. It did its job, it got me back switch advantage, and it's Lanturn time. And as you know, Lanturn has an absolutely dominating matchup up against the Skarmory, so we're going to go Thunderbolt, hoping for a shield, and my opponent gives up their second shield. And Lanturn, I'm just going to hold on to the shield, because no one move will take me out from this range. You don't need to respect really anything. And it's a Azumarill in the back, so you know how this is. Good game to my opponent, very well played. As previously mentioned, basically all members of this team hard counter Azumarill. We no-shield the Ice Beam, and as you can see, it does not take me out. Jumpluff is very thick, despite taking double super effective damage. That Ice Beam does not take me out. And at this rate, I do get to the Energy Ball on the Jumpluff, so I am going to actually shield this next Ice Beam. I could have overfarmed a little bit more, but, you know, seeing that we are in the no shields up against Skarmory, Lanturn's going to win the matchup. It's just, you know, I could have played it a little bit better, but we were going to win anyways, so it didn't even matter. We reached the Thunderbolt. This is going to take out the Skarmory from this range. Yeah, especially with that low of health. So good game to my opponent, very well played. I believe this is game number 4, but we pick up another lead up against Skarmory. So we safe swap in the Qwilfish, and my opponent's not switching out, so they are probably weak to Qwilfish in the back. Either that, or my opponent's smart enough to realize that Qwilfish actually loses most matchups against Skarmory, including the 2-shield. So this is effectively a negative matchup for Qwilfish. I'm just trying to bait my opponent into switching out, but my opponent saw the bait, so they decided that they're just going to stay in there and let Skarmory take care of the Qwilfish. Another quick aside here, we just did not play this well. We let a lot of fast moves and charge moves sneak through, so quite unfortunate. We're going to lose this matchup here, but it is what it is. So I'm actually going to come in with Lanturn here and Spark all the way down, maybe get ahead on some energy. And let's see what comes in. Alright, and it's Steelix. So this is effectively horrible. Now, I make another big mistake. I should have gone straight Hydro Pump. I have absolutely zero reason to go for Thunderbolt, except if I'm in a pinch where my energy is really important. But in this case, because Lanturn's so healthy, health does not matter, and I should have went Hydro Pump. I go for the Hydro Pump here, but this is almost assuredly going to get a shield. So, yeah, horrible plays on my part. But hey, this is why we watch these kinds of battles, just so that way you guys can see my mistakes, and, you know, so we can learn from them together. But yeah, I come in with the Jumpluff here. Seeing that Jumpluff actually hits for neutral damage here with these energy balls, I decide to no-shield the Crunch. Crunch is really the only thing they can throw at me because Earthquake is triple resisted. So I'm going for the Energy Ball. My opponent makes a very nice catch onto their Azumarill, but is it so nice? Because it's actually hitting for super effective damage right there. And it's so bittersweet because Jumpluff is just too low to deal with this Azumarill. I try to catch an Ice Beam, but it fails, so a little bit less life than seeing, you know, an Azumarill, because they actually held their energy right there. So we're going to be able to reach the Thunderbolt here. This will KO the Azumarill if they do not shield this. And basically, with the no shield, we have to get to a move on Lanturn. Probably the Hydro Pump to threaten the shield. I only get to the Thunderbolt. And I really need to hope that this KOs. Or if it gets a shield, so that way my Jumpluff can just throw the Energy Ball. But no, my opponent's smart enough to recognize that a Thunderbolt will not KO. And they hold their energy and throw it for the Jumpluff. So my opponent played that very well. Good game. Another game, another Skarmory lead. You've seen how this is played. We're going directly into Qwilfish. We're going to soften up the Skarmory with our Aqua Tail. Should be doing some solid chip damage to this Skarmory. Nice. Alright, so Jumpluff comes in. And you've seen how this is played. we like to bait with the Aqua Tail, only except we try to bait, and for some reason the Jumpluff actually gets to a move and gets to throw it before we do. So I think the game registered it as offset CMP, even though it was actual CMP, because Qwilfish does win the CMP. So, don't know why that happened. The opponent calls my bait there. Did you see that? That was weird, but anyways, we get to the Sludge Wave again, but my opponent fails to call that one, so very nice for us. We win back switch, so Skarmory comes back in. Aqua Tail is going to be doing some more chip damage to the Skarmory. Nice. And this time, it's real CMP, and we're able to throw first, so very nice there. We're just going to let the Qwilfish go down. It did its job. Lanturn's going to come in and absolutely body this Skarmory. My opponent comes in with Politoed, and Politoed has nowhere to run because it is absolutely hard counter to Oblivion by Jumpluff and Lanturn. Check this out. We call the bait in return, so I got my revenge there, and I successfully call the Weather Ball. We get to an Energy Ball. It gets shielded, so now we're at even shields. I'm going to call it again, just cuz. And we actually call it again, so they must be running Earthquake and Weather Ball. They throw almost instantaneously. This is once again another Weather Ball. We can take these for days. Jumpluff is just so thick. And yeah, we're going to be able to get to another Energy Ball. Gets the second shield. My opponent comes in with Skarmory. We swap in Lanturn. And yeah, this is good game right here. We're going to body the Sky Attack. That does nothing. We're going to farm down all the way with Sparks. And we have a Thunderbolt loaded for the Politoed. So yeah, good game to my opponent. Very well played. Thunderbolt is going to be taking out the Politoed from this health range. And that is a good game to my opponent. Very well played. As you can see, that's the end of the first set right there. But don't worry, we went 4-1. We still have 3 bonus battles for you, so definitely enjoy those. We're just going to collect our rewards here first. So yeah, same team, 3 bonus battles. Let's get into it. Alright, bonus battle number 1, and we have a lead up against Ariados, so this is not great for us. We swap in Qwilfish, and my opponent responds with a Politoed. Now, this is a horrible matchup, unless you land the Sludge Wave. Boom! Sludge Wave lands on the Politoed, and look at that damage. Brings it into the red, so we can safely sponge this Weather Ball right here, and we'll be able to go for an Aqua Tail that'll KO, but my opponent actually expends all of their energy, so we'll be able to survive the next Weather Ball, and actually be able to farm all the way down right here, which is super nice. My opponent comes in with an opposing Qwilfish, and I go straight for the Aqua Tail. We'll actually be able to unleash quite a few Aqua Tails onto this Qwilfish, considering how much energy we have, so this is actually very good for us. The second Aqua Tail actually gets Qwilfish into the yellow, and check this out, we're able to reach a third. I tried to build for the Sludge Wave, but, you know, it's fine, we can settle for an Aqua Tail. So, Qwilfish is nice and low here. We're going to come in with Lanturn and start sparking all the way down. The Qwilfish reaches a move, but I'm going to shield it because I think it's the Sludge Wave, and we correctly shield the Sludge Wave, so that's very good. My opponent preserves the Qwilfish and comes in directly to Ariados, so I'm going to body the lunge right here, and I'm going to start to get ahead on some energy. My opponent gets to a second move. That's perfectly fine. We'll be able to body whatever this is. It's a cross poison. We survive that, but my opponent gets a boost, and this is really scary. I cannot go down 2 shields. We have to let this go through. This is gonna hurt. Ouch. That does at least 60%. So we're gonna get to the acrobatics right here. This is probably gonna get my opponent's first shield. So acrobatics, yeah, that gets the shield. Trying to get to the second, but my opponent tries to catch on Qwilfish, and they're unable to poison sting me down. So on 1 HP in a dream, I get to my second acrobatics, and this is gonna force my opponent's second shield. And now, because we have all that energy stored on Lanturn, all I have to do is shield, and Hydro Pump will come through on the Ariados. They go for the lunge, which debuffs me, but that's okay, because Hydro Pump will still do enough damage to KO this Ariados. Boom! Able to take out the Ariados, and that is a good game to my opponent. Very well played. Alright, so second bonus battle incoming, and we pick up a lead against Lanturn. This is a very positive matchup for Jumpluff, as you can see here. It does take neutral damage from electric type attacks, but we're dealing super effective with our Bullet Seed and Energy Ball combination. So as you see, Thunderbolt doesn't do a ton of damage. Like I said, Jumpluff is thick, but Energy Ball does a lot more, which is why this is generally very positive. So we can body Thunderbolt, but we go for the Energy Ball here just so we don't have to shield the Jumpluff, and this will be taking out the Lantern right here. Alright, so what decides to come in next? It's a Piloswine, and I need to reach the Energy Ball to force a shield. Jumpluff, as you can see, takes those Ice-type attacks very well. It's double super effective, but you couldn't tell. So Energy Ball will actually be able to get a shield. And then Qwilfish comes in, and this is where I start shielding, because I don't want to get hit with a Bulldoze. That would be super effective. But it's just a Stone Edge. Still would have done a lot of damage, so that's a fine shield right there. We're going to go for Aqua Tails right here, since they do big damage. They deal super effective, since Piloswine has that ground subtyping. So I'm going to shield here, thinking it's a Stone Edge, but they bait me with the Avalanche. Still fine, because Piloswine hits very hard. So we're going to go and throw this next Aqua Tail. And actually, now that I have two back-to-back ones, I'm just going to throw both of them. Fun fact, in this battle, I actually thought that my opponent had a shield. So you're going to see like some very odd and frantic swiping, and you're going to see a very unnecessary catch here. Well, I wouldn't call it unnecessary. I catch the Frenzy Plant onto the Lantern. Basically, it'll just sack it, since Lantern has no purpose here. Meganium's going to farm down, but it's not going to be enough farm to get to the Frenzy Plant before I get to the Sludge Wave. So that's effectively a good game to my opponent. Very well played. So yeah, there's the frantic swiping. That's me thinking I lost, but I actually won there. So good game to my opponent. Very well played. Let's hop into our final bonus battle. Alright, so this is the final battle here, and we pick up a lead against Umbreon. So as I said earlier, Jumpluff does win in the 2 shields, and I recognize that, so I decide to stay in. Basically just going to body whatever they throw at us, and yeah, I undertap there by mistake, and my opponent sneaks a Snarl through, but no big dealio. It's fine. We're just going to throw the Acrobatics. Oh my god, that damage was so disappointing. I mean, Jumpluff does have a low weight attack, and it is Umbreon that we're throwing it onto, but I kind of expected a little bit more. So I'm actually now going to safe switch into Qwilfish, and my opponent swaps in an Ampharos. So not a great matchup, but we're going to be able to get the Aqua Tail off right here. I'm baiting, hoping for the shield, and we get it. And now we're at the Sludge Wave. Does it land? Oh god, this is going to get messy. Prepare your headphones. Boom! Sludge Wave takes out the Ampharos, and Qwilfish is more than doing its job here. Qwilfish is not finished. It's going to get to this Aqua Tail real nice. Chip damage onto the Umbreon, getting it nice and low. Umbreon does get a hefty farm in. And I actually come in with Lantern here because I want to start getting ahead on energy for it. Just because Jumpluff has a lot of energy, I think having 2 Pokemon with a lot of energy on it is deadlier than 1. But eventually I start to realize that there might be a Skarmory in the back. I'm hard reading it. So I'm actually going to build up to the Thunderbolt and then come in and basically throw as soon as the Jumpluff comes in. So that's going to be an Energy Ball to take it out. And sure enough, my prediction's correct. And thank God we didn't have to tank any more damage there. So Lantern is going to be healthy enough to take on the Skarmory. Acrobatics, though, does some solid damage to the Skarmory. It is resisted, but still, that did nice damage. So now I'm going to throw the Thunderbolt. And this should be getting my opponent's final shield. Yep. And then we just need to get to 1 more Thunderbolt. Lantern has 2 shields. We're going to shield regardless of what this move is. Sky Attack. Normally we take it for days, but we have the 2 shields, so we might as well use them. Second shield going to come through just before we get to the Thunderbolt. And yeah, the Thunderbolt will be taking out that Skarmory in the back. So this is effectively a good game to my opponent. Very well played. So yeah. Those were the battles. Overall, I thought this team was very positive for me. I think the core is very nice, and Qwilfish Safe Swap is very deadly. So I'm going to probably use it to keep climbing and get a fresh start as I take on the veteran rank. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.